If you're here to fall asleep, you're in the right place. For the next 2 hours, I'm going to tell you the ancient myths behind the zodiac constellations. 12 stories written in the stars. Told in the most boring, soothing way possible. Get comfortable. Lower your volume. Dim your screen, or turn it off completely. You don't need to stay awake for any of this. You don't need to remember the stories. Just let them wash over you like starlight. These are the myths the ancient Greeks told. When they looked up at the night sky, and saw patterns, and gave them names, and created stories to explain them. Let's begin with your breath. Close your eyes. Let your body sink down into whatever supports you. The bed, the pillow, the sheets. Let gravity do all the work. You don't need to hold yourself up. Just release. Just let go. Breathe with me now. In through your nose. Slowly. Filling your lungs completely. Hold for just a moment. And out through your mouth. Long, slow. Easy. Again. In. Drawing in calm. Drawing in peace. Hold. And out. Releasing the day. Releasing tension. Releasing everything that doesn't serve you. One more time. In. Deep and full. Hold. Noticing the stillness. And out. Surrendering completely. To this moment. To this journey. To rest. Good. Let your breathing return to its natural rhythm now. Easy. Gentle. Like the slow wheeling of stars across the night sky. Like the patient turning of the cosmos. Tonight we journey through the zodiac. The circle of animals. The 12 constellations that mark the sun's path through the sky. Each one with a story. A myth. A reason for being. You might know your sign. Your sun sign. The constellation the sun was in when you were born. Tonight you'll hear its story. And 11 others. All told slowly. Peacefully. With no rush. No urgency. Just stories. Ancient stories. Under ancient stars. Our first constellation is Aries. The ram. The first sign of the zodiac. Where spring begins. Where the year begins. Where our journey begins. Let's go there now. Story 1, Aries, the Golden Ram. Look up. Find the constellation Aries. It is not bright. Not obvious. Just 4 stars. Forming a curve. Like a ram's horn. Curving back. Away from the face. Small. Subtle. Easy to miss. But the story is not small. The story is grand. Epic. About a ram that could fly. A ram with wool of pure gold. A ram that saved 2 children from a terrible fate. There was a king. Long ago. In a land called Boeotia. His name was Athamas. He had 2 children. A son named Phrixus. A daughter named Hera. He loved them, as fathers do. But the king remarried his new wife, Ino. She did not love the children. She saw them as obstacles, as threats. She wanted them gone, dead, so her own children could inherit the kingdom. She devised a plan, a cruel plan. She convinced the farmers to roast their seed grain before planting, so it would not grow, so the crops would fail. And they did. The fields stayed empty, barren. Famine came, hunger, fear. Ino told the king, "This famine is a curse from the gods. They are angry. They demand a sacrifice, human sacrifice. Your son, Phrixus, must be killed to appease them, to save the kingdom." The king, heartbroken, agreed. What choice did he have? His people were starving. His son for the kingdom. One life for many. He prepared the sacrifice. But the gods were watching. The real gods, who had not demanded this sacrifice, who saw through Ino's deception, who would not let an innocent die. They sent help. A ram. Not an ordinary ram. A magical ram. With wool of pure gold. And wings. Great wings. That could carry it through the sky. Through the clouds. Through the very air itself. The ram appeared, just as the sacrifice was about to begin. It spoke to the children. "Climb on my back. Hold tight. I will carry you away. To safety. To a place where you will be loved. Protected. Free." The children climbed on. Phrixus in front. Hera behind. They wrapped their hands in the golden wool. Held tight. As tight as they could. And the ram leaped. Into the air. Higher. Higher. Above the altar. Above the palace. Above the kingdom. Into the sky. They flew east. Away from Boeotia. Away from danger. Away from Ino's hatred. The ram's wings beat steadily, powerfully, carrying them over mountains, over forests, over seas. But the flight was long. The children grew tired. Their hands grew weak. Hera, behind her brother, could not hold on. Her fingers slipped, loosened, let go. She fell. Down, down, into the sea below. The strait between Europe and Asia. It is called the Hellespont now. Named for her. For the girl who fell from the golden ram. Who drowned in those dark waters. Far from home. Far from her brother. Alone. Phrixus heard her scream. felt her weight disappear behind him. But he could not turn, could not go back. The ram flew on, had to fly on, to save at least one child, to complete the rescue. They landed, finally, in a place called Colchis, at the edge of the Black Sea. Far, so far from home. The king there, Aries, welcomed Phrixus, gave him refuge, treated him as a son, protected him. Phrixus, grateful, sacrificed the ram to Zeus, the king of gods, who had sent it, who had saved his life, even though his sister had died, even though he was alone. He gave thanks. The ram's golden fleece, its wool, was given to King Aedes, who hung it in a sacred grove, guarded by a dragon that never slept. This fleece, this golden ram's wool, would become legend, would inspire heroes, would call Jason and the Argonauts, decades later, to quest for it, to try to steal it, to prove their worth. But the ram itself, the magical creature who had tried to save both children, who had succeeded with one, failed with the other. The ram was honored by Zeus, placed in the sky, among the stars, forever flying, forever remembered, forever marking the beginning of spring, the beginning of the year, the beginning of all things. When you see Aries, those 4 small stars, curving like a horn, remember, this is the golden ram, who tried to save, who mostly succeeded, who lost one child but saved another, who became legend, who still flies, in the darkness, in the stars, patient, eternal, kind. Let that kindness stay with you as you drift deeper. The ram's steady flight, the golden wool, the sacrifice for others, the doing of good, even when it costs, even when not everyone can be saved, the trying, the effort, the love. Rest now, under Aries, under the ram, under the stars that remember, when gods cared, when magic was real, when rescue came on golden wings. Sleep. The ram watches, the stars shine, all is calm, all is peace, all is exactly as it should be. Story 2, Taurus, the bull of Zeus. Look for Taurus, the bull. It is easier to find than Aries. Brighter, more obvious. The face of the bull is a V, a clear V, of stars. One star, Aldebaran, glows red, orange. The bull's eye, fierce, but not angry, just bright, watchful. And nearby, the Pleiades, The seven sisters. A small cluster. Like a tiny dipper. Like a group of diamonds. Scattered on black velvet. These are on the bull's shoulder. Part of the constellation. Part of the story. The bull is Zeus, king of the gods. But transformed. Disguised. Hiding in animal form. Why? For love. Always for love. Zeus. For all his power. For all his wisdom. Could not resist beauty. Could not resist falling in love. Again. And again. And again. There was a princess. Europa. Daughter of the king of Phoenicia. A coastal kingdom. Where the Mediterranean sparkles. Where ships come and go. Where trade and wealth flow like water. Europa was beautiful. Extraordinarily beautiful. When Zeus saw her, walking on the beach, playing with her companions, laughing, carefree, young, innocent, he wanted her. Immediately. Completely. But he could not simply appear. Could not reveal himself as a god. His wife, Hera, was jealous. Watched him. Punished those he loved. Zeus needed to be careful. Clever. Disguised. So he became a bull. Not a normal bull. But a magnificent bull. White. Pure white. Like snow. Like marble. Like the foam on waves. His horns were perfect. Curved. Strong. His eyes were gentle. Kind. Trustworthy. He appeared on the beach. Where Europa played. Emerged from the sea. As if he lived there. As if he belonged. The girls saw him. Were not afraid. He seemed too gentle. Too calm. Too beautiful to fear. Europa approached. Touched his white flank. Smooth. Warm. Real. The bull did not move. Did not startle. Just stood. Patient. Allowing her touch. Her curiosity. Her trust. She wove flowers. Into garlands. Hung them on his horns. Decorated him. As if he were a statue. A pet. Something safe. Something controllable. The bull accepted this. Seemed to enjoy it. Lowered his head. Made himself approachable. Harmless. Europa. Bold. Playful. Decided to climb on. Onto his back. Just for fun. Just to see. Her friends laughed. Encouraged her. Helped her up. She sat on the bull's broad back. Between his shoulders. Held his horns. Felt secure. Safe. Happy. And then. The bull moved. Not slowly. Not carefully. But suddenly. Powerfully. He ran. Toward the sea. Into the waves. Europa screamed. Tried to jump off. But the bull was in the water now. Swimming. Strong. Fast. Carrying her away. Away from the beach. Away from her friends. Away from everything she knew. He swam. 4 miles. 4 hours. Across the Mediterranean. Away from Phoenicia. Toward Crete. The large island. In the middle of the sea. Europa held on. Had no choice. Crying. Afraid. Not understanding. Not knowing this was Zeus. Not knowing she had been chosen. Taken. They reached Crete. The bull brought her ashore. And then he transformed. Became himself. Zeus. Tall. Powerful. Divine. He told her who he was. Why he had taken her. That he loved her. That she would be honored. Protected. Revered. Europa had no say. No choice. This was how gods operated. They took what they wanted. Called it love. Called it honor. Whether the mortal agreed or not. But Europa. Pragmatic. Intelligent. Made the best of it. She bore Zeus 3 sons. Minos. Rhadamanthus. Sarpedon. All became great. Minos became king of Crete. A judge of the dead. Famous. Powerful. The continent itself, Europe, was named for Europa. Her story. Her abduction. Her adaptation. Zeus. To commemorate. Placed the bull in the sky. The white bull. Who had carried Europa. Who had been his disguise. His tool. His means of conquest. The bull shines there now. Patient. Eternal. The red eye watching. The Pleiades on its shoulder. Forever swimming through the night sky. Forever carrying its burden. Forever remembered. When you see Taurus. The bright V. The red eye. Think of Europa. The princess who had no choice. Who was taken. But who survived. Who adapted. Who became legendary. Who gave her name to a continent. Whose story, for all its darkness, is one of resilience. Of making the best of what cannot be changed. Of continuing. Always continuing. Let that resilience stay with you. As you drift deeper. The bull's steady swimming. The long journey across the sea. The transformation at the end. The adaptation. The survival. The continuation. Rest now. Under Taurus. Under the bull. Under the stars that remember. When gods took what they wanted. But mortals endured. Adapted. Survived. Thrived. Sleep. The bull swims on through the night sky. Forever the stars shine. The story continues. All is as it has always been. All is as it will always be. Story 3, Gemini, the twin brothers. Find Gemini. The twins. Two bright stars. Side by side. Castor and Pollux. Almost equal. Almost the same. Like brothers should be. The constellation stretches below them. Two parallel lines of stars. Like two figures. Standing together. Always together. Never apart. The twins are Castor and Pollux. Brothers. But not quite the same. Because one was mortal. And one was divine. And this difference, this small but crucial difference, would define their entire story. Their mother was Leda, Queen of Sparta. Their father, or fathers. Here is where it gets complicated. As Greek myths often do. Leda was visited on the same night by two beings. Her husband, Tyndareus, the king, and Zeus, the god, disguised as a swan. Zeus again, unable to resist, unable to stay away, transforming, deceiving, taking. From this night, Leda laid eggs. Yes, eggs. Because Zeus had been a swan. And myth follows its own logic. From these eggs came 4 children. 2 boys. 2 girls. Helen and Clytemnestra. The girls, who would become legendary, tragic, famous, and Castor and Pollux. The boys, the twins, one fathered by the king, one by Zeus, one mortal, one immortal. But which was which? The myths are unclear. Some say Pollux was Zeus's son, divine, immortal. Others say Castor. It varies. But what matters, what defines their story, is that they were different. In the most fundamental way. One would die. One would not. They grew up together. Inseparable. Best friends. Brothers in every way that mattered. They went on adventures. Sailed with Jason on the Argo. Hunted. Fought. Protected. Together. Always together. Castor was known for his skill with horses. Taming them. Riding them. Understanding them. Pollux was a boxer. Undefeated. Powerful. Strong. Together they were formidable. Balanced. Complete. They fell in love. With 2 women. Phoebe and Hera. Beautiful sisters. Daughters of another king. But these women were already promised. Already betrothed. To 2 other men. Idas and Lynceus. Also brothers. Also warriors. A fight was inevitable. A battle over the women. Over honor. Over pride. The twins, Castor and Pollux, against Idas and Lynceus. Brutal. Violent. Deadly. Castor was mortal. Remember. He could die. And in the battle. He did. Struck down. Killed. His brother Pollux. Fought on. Killed Lynceus. Wounded Idas. Won the battle. But at what cost? His brother. His twin. His other half. Was dead. Pollux. Immortal. Could not die. But could not bear to live. Without his brother. Without Castor. What was the point of immortality? If you were alone? If the person you loved most was gone? He prayed to Zeus, his father. Begged him. Let me die. Let me follow Castor. To the underworld. To death. I don't want immortality. Without him. I don't want to live. Forever. Alone. Zeus. For once. Was moved. Understood. Love between brothers. Loyalty. Devotion. He made a deal. An arrangement. He could not make Pollux mortal. Could not take away his immortality. But he could share it. He split it. The immortality. Between the twins. They would alternate. One day in Olympus. Among the gods. One day in the underworld. Among the dead. Then switch. Back and forth. Forever. Together. Never separated for long. Sharing everything. Even death. Even life. And Zeus placed them in the sky. The twins. Castor and Pollux. Side by side. Forever. Two bright stars. Almost equal. Never separate. A reminder. Of love. Of sacrifice. Of the bond between brothers. That death cannot break. That even gods respect. That endures. Beyond mortality. Beyond time. Beyond everything. When you see Gemini, those two bright stars, think of the twins. Think of Castor and Pollux, who loved each other. More than life. More than death. More than immortality itself. Who chose to share. To alternate. To be together. Even if it meant never being fully alive. Never being fully at rest. Just being together. Which was enough. Which was everything. Let that love stay with you. As you drift deeper. The bond between souls. The refusal to be separated. The sharing of everything. Good and bad. Life and death. Joy and sorrow. Together. Always together. Rest now. Under Gemini. Under the twins. Under the stars that remember. When love was stronger than death. When brothers would not be parted. When Zeus himself was moved to mercy. Sleep. The twins watch. Side by side. The stars shine. Together. Never separate. All is love. All is loyalty. All is exactly as it should be. Story 4, Cancer, the Crab of Hera. Cancer. The crab is hard to see. The dimmest of the zodiac. Just a few faint stars. Forming a Y. Or an upside-down Y, depending on how you look. Easy to miss. Easy to overlook. But it has a story. A small story. About a small creature. Who tried to help. Who failed. But was honored anyway. This story is part of a larger story. Heracles. You might know him by his Roman name. Hercules. The greatest hero. The strongest man. Son of Zeus and a mortal woman. Hated by Hera. Zeus's wife. Who could not stand her husband's infidelities. Who could not punish Zeus. But could punish his children. Hera cursed Heracles. Drove him mad. Made him kill his own family. His wife. His children. In his madness. Without knowing. When he recovered. When he realized what he had done. The guilt. The horror. Was too much. To atone. To cleanse his sin. He was given 12 labors. 12 impossible tasks. Each one harder than the last. Each one meant to kill him. But he survived them all. Because he was Heracles. Because he was the strongest. The greatest. The hero. The second labor. Was to kill the Hydra. The Lernaean Hydra. A monster. A serpent. With many heads. 9 heads. Or 7. Or 100. The number varies. But the challenge was the same. Every time you cut off one head, 2 more grew back. The Hydra could not be killed. Not by ordinary means. Not by strength alone. Heracles went to fight it. At its lair. A swamp. Dark. Foul. Poisonous. The Hydra emerged. Multiple heads. Snapping. Biting. Breathing poison. Heracles fought. Cut off heads. But more grew. The fight was not going well. He was losing. Slowly. Surely. The Hydra was winning. Hera watched. From Olympus. From her throne. And she smiled. Here was her chance. To see Zeus's son killed. To see her enemy destroyed. But she wanted to be sure. She wanted to help. To ensure Heracles died. She sent a crab. A giant crab. From the swamp. From the nearby waters, it emerged, crawled toward the battle, its claws snapping, its shell hard. It attacked Heracles from behind, bit his foot, his heel, drew blood. Heracles, distracted for just a moment, looked down, saw the crab, and crushed it. Instantly, without thought, stepped on it. Hard. The crab's shell cracked, broke. It died. Immediately. Its mission failed. It had not killed Heracles, had not even slowed him, had just died. Pointlessly, uselessly. But Hera saw the crab's effort, its attempt, its loyalty. It had tried, had obeyed, had sacrificed itself for her, at her command. And she, moved, grateful, placed the crab in the sky, among the stars, honored it, even though it had failed, even though it had died for nothing. It had tried, and that mattered to her. Cancer. The crab shines faintly now, because its story is small. Its contribution was small. It failed. It died. But it tried. And Hera remembered, honored it, gave it a place among the zodiac, among the constellations, forever. Heracles, by the way, survived, killed the Hydra, with help from his nephew, who burned the stumps, preventing new heads from growing, completed the labor, went on to complete the others, became legend, became a god himself. Eventually, after death, went to Olympus, was welcomed, even by Hera. Eventually, when her anger cooled, when time had passed, when even gods can forgive. But the crab, the small crab, that tried to help Hera, that died in an instant, under the hero's foot. It is remembered too, in its own way. Faint, dim, easy to overlook. But there, in the sky, forever, a reminder that small efforts matter, that loyalty is honored, that even failures, even deaths, can be made meaningful, can be remembered, can shine, even if dimly. When you see Cancer, those faint stars, that easy to miss, why, remember the crab, the creature that tried, that failed, that died, but was honored anyway, by a goddess, who appreciated loyalty, who remembered effort, who placed it in the sky, to shine, forever. Let that thought stay with you, as you drift deeper. That effort matters, even when it fails. That trying is enough. That loyalty is seen, is valued, is honored, even when the outcome is not what we hoped. The trying, the effort, the heart matters. Rest now. Under Cancer, under the crab, under the faint stars that remember. A small creature who tried to help, who died trying, who was honored by one who saw, who remembered, who cared. Sleep. The crab watches, faintly, quietly. The stars shine, dim but present. All is effort. All is seen. All is exactly as it should be. Story 5, Leo, the Nemean Lion. Leo, the lion, is bright, obvious, unmistakable. A backward question mark, called the sickle, forms the lion's head and mane. And below, a triangle, the lion's hindquarters, the brightest star, Regulus, the little king, marks the lion's heart. Blue-white, brilliant, royal. This is the Nemean Lion. From Heracles' first labor, his first impossible task, to kill a beast that could not be killed by any weapon, made by any man. The lion lived near Nemea, a city in Greece. It terrorized the region, killed livestock, killed people, anyone who ventured near its lair, its cave, in the mountains. The lion was massive, larger than any natural lion. Its hide, its skin, was impenetrable. No sword could cut it. No arrow could pierce it. No spear could wound it. It was invulnerable, invincible. Heracles was sent to kill it. His first labor, assigned by King Eurystheus, who hoped, secretly, that Heracles would die, that this monster would succeed, where Hera's curse had failed, to end the hero, to stop him forever. Heracles tracked the lion 4 days through the mountains, following its prints, the massive paw marks, in the dust, in the mud, following the sounds, the roars, that echoed through the valleys, that made his blood cold, that reminded him, this was no ordinary hunt. This was a fight to the death, against an enemy that could not be harmed. He found the lion's cave, saw the bones around the entrance of its victims, animals, people, all killed, all devoured. He waited, patient, for the lion to return from its hunting, from its killing. The lion came at dusk, massive, golden, beautiful and terrible. Heracles shot his arrows, the best arrows, made by the best craftsmen. They bounced off, fell harmlessly. The lion didn't even flinch. Didn't even notice. Heracles tried his sword. His bronze sword. Sharp. Well made. Struck the lion's hide. The sword bent. Twisted. Useless. The lion turned. Saw him. Roared. A sound like thunder. Like earthquake. That made the earth tremble. Heracles realized. Weapons would not work. He would have to use something else. Something the lion could not defend against. His own strength. His own hands. His own body. He waited for the lion to attack. And when it leaped, he did not dodge. Did not run. He grabbed it. With his bare hands. Around the neck. The lion thrashed. Clawed. Bit. But Heracles held on. Squeezed. Tighter. Tighter. His muscles straining. His lungs burning. His whole body focused. On one thing. Squeezing. Crushing. Stopping the lion's breath. It took time. Long time. The lion was strong. Fought hard. But Heracles was stronger. Slowly. Slowly. The lion's struggles weakened. Its roars became whimpers. Its thrashing became twitches. And finally, nothing. The lion went limp. Dead. Strangled. By the only weapon that could kill it. Human hands. Human strength. Human will. Heracles tried to skin the lion. To take its hide. As proof. But his knife could not cut it. No blade could. Then he realized. The lion's own claws were the only thing sharp enough to cut its own hide. He used the lion's claws to skin it, to take the pelt, the golden fur that no weapon could pierce. He wore it from then on. The lion's skin. As armor. As protection. As a symbol. Of his first victory. His first labor. Completed against impossible odds. The lion's head became his helmet. Its teeth framing his face. Its body covering his back. He became identified with it. The hero in the lion's skin. Heracles the lion slayer. Zeus. Watching. Impressed. Placed the lion in the sky. Honored it. As a worthy opponent. As a beast that had fought well. Died with dignity. Deserved remembrance. The Nemean Lion shines there now. Bright. Proud. Forever stalking through the night sky. Forever the hunter. Forever powerful. When you see Leo. That bright backward question mark. That brilliant star Regulus. Think of the Nemean Lion. Invulnerable. Powerful. Defeated only by greater strength. By determination. By will that would not yield. Think of a beast honored by gods and heroes for being worthy, for being magnificent, for being remembered. Let that strength stay with you as you drift deeper. The lion's power, its invulnerability, its fierce beauty, the respect it earned, even in death, the honor it received, for being what it was, completely, utterly, without apology. Rest now, under Leo, under the lion, under the stars that remember, when beasts were legendary, when heroes were real, when courage meant facing the impossible, and doing it anyway. Sleep. The lion stalks through the night, forever hunting, forever powerful, forever honored. The stars shine, bright, proud, eternal. All is strength. All is courage. All is exactly as it should be. Story 6, Virgo, the Maiden of Harvest. Virgo, the Maiden, is large, the second largest constellation, stretches across a huge portion of sky. Its brightest star, Spica, the ear of wheat, shines blue-white, pure, bright. The maiden holds wheat, grain, harvest, life. There are many stories about Virgo, many identities, but the most common, the most enduring, is Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, goddess of harvest, goddess of grain, goddess of life itself, growing, feeding, sustaining. Persephone was beautiful, young, innocent. She lived with her mother, in the world above, in the light, in the fields where grain grew, where flowers bloomed, where spring was eternal, because Demeter, her mother, kept it so, made the earth fertile, made things grow, made life possible. But Hades saw her, the god of the underworld, of death, of the place where souls go, dark, cold, lonely. He was lonely, wanted a companion, a wife, wanted Persephone, desired her, decided to take her. One day, Persephone was picking flowers in a meadow with her companions, other young goddesses, laughing, playing, innocent, happy. She saw a flower, a narcissus, beautiful, perfect. She reached for it. The earth opened, split. A chasm, dark, deep. From it, horses, black horses, pulling a chariot, black chariot, and in it, Hades, Lord of the dead. He grabbed Persephone, pulled her into the chariot. She screamed. Her friends screamed. Tried to help. But too late. The earth closed. The chasm sealed. Persephone was gone. Taken. To the underworld. Against her will. Demeter heard her daughters scream. Though far away. Mothers know. Mothers hear. She ran. Searched. Called. Persephone. Persephone. Where are you? But no answer. Just silence. Her daughter was gone. Demeter searched. For 9 days. For 9 nights. Without rest. Without food. Without stopping. Across the whole earth. Asking everyone. Everything. Have you seen my daughter? Where is she? What happened? But no one knew. No one would say. The earth itself seemed to conspire. To hide the truth. Finally. Helios. The sun. Who sees everything. Told her. Hades took her. To the underworld. To be his wife. His queen. She is there now. Below. In darkness. In death. Demeter. Grief-stricken. Furious. Abandoned her duties. Let the crops die. Let the fields go barren. Let the earth turn cold. Winter came. For the first time. Nothing grew. Nothing bloomed. Humanity starved. Animals died. The world became gray. Cold. Dead. Zeus. Concerned. Sent messengers. Demeter, you must return to your duties. People are dying. The world needs you. But Demeter refused. Not until my daughter returns. Not until Persephone is free. Let the world die. I don't care. My daughter. That is all that matters. Zeus negotiated. With Hades. You must return Persephone. The world is dying. Demeter will not relent. You cannot keep her. Against everyone's will. This is too much. Hades agreed. But cunning. He had given Persephone food. Pomegranate seeds. Just 6 seeds. And anyone who eats food in the underworld cannot fully leave. Cannot return completely. Is bound. Forever. To that place. A compromise was reached. Persephone would spend 6 months with her mother. Above. In the light. In the world. And 6 months with Hades. Below. In darkness. In the underworld. Forever alternating. Forever split. Between 2 worlds. 2 lives. 2 duties. And so it goes. Still. When Persephone returns to her mother, Demeter rejoices. Makes the world bloom. Spring comes. Summer follows. Everything grows, lives, thrives. But when Persephone descends back to the underworld, Demeter grieves, lets the world die. Fall comes, winter follows. Everything sleeps, waits, endures. This is the cycle, the reason for seasons, the explanation ancient Greeks gave for why the world changes, why warmth becomes cold, why life becomes death, and back again, forever. The turning wheel, the eternal return, all because of a mother's love, a daughter's fate, a compromise that became law. Virgo in the sky is Persephone, the maiden, holding wheat, representing harvest, representing the time when she returns, when grain grows, when life flourishes. She shines there, beautiful, pure, forever young, forever the daughter, forever split between worlds. When you see Virgo, that long constellation, that bright star Spica, think of Persephone. Think of her double life. Think of cycles, of seasons, of things that die and return, of separations and reunions, of the wheel that turns forever, always bringing back what was lost, always taking away what was found. The eternal pattern of life. Let that pattern stay with you as you drift deeper. The cycle of seasons, the return of spring, the necessity of winter, the loss and the reunion, the grief and the joy, all part of the same cycle, all necessary, all eternal. Rest now, under Virgo, under the maiden, under the stars that remember, when spring was a goddess, when winter was her grief, when the seasons turned, because of love, because of loss, because of compromise. Sleep. Persephone watches, with wheat in her hand. The stars shine, the seasons turn. All is cycle, all is return, all is exactly as it should be. Story 7, Libra, the scales of justice. Libra, the scales, is unique, the only zodiac constellation that is not a living creature, not an animal, not a person, not a monster, just an object. Scales, balance, justice, weighing. The stars form two dishes hanging from a bar, a balance scale, like those used in markets, to weigh goods, to ensure fairness, to prevent cheating. The scales should be level, equal, balanced. That is the ideal. That is what they represent. The scales belong to Astrea, the last of the gods, to leave Earth. When humanity became too wicked, too violent, too corrupt. But let me start earlier, to understand why she had scales, why she left, why she matters. In the beginning, the Golden Age, humans lived with gods, walked together, talked together. There was no war, no crime, no injustice. Everyone had enough. Everyone was happy. The earth gave freely. No one took more than needed. It was paradise. Perfect. Complete. But time passed. Humans changed. Became greedy. Ambitious. Violent. The Golden Age ended. The Silver Age began. Worse. Then Bronze. Worse still. Finally, Iron. The worst. The age of war. Of suffering. Of constant conflict. The gods, one by one, left Earth, disgusted, disappointed, unwilling to watch anymore, unable to fix it. They returned to Olympus, to heaven, to the sky, away from humanity, away from the mess, the corruption, the pain. But one goddess stayed. Astrea, goddess of justice, of purity, of innocence. She believed in humanity. Still, despite everything, despite the wars, the crimes, the cruelties, she believed people could change, could improve, could return to goodness. She carried scales to weigh deeds, actions, to determine justice, to decide what is fair, what is right, what should be done. She walked among humans, settling disputes, stopping fights, teaching, always teaching, justice, fairness, balance, the middle way. But humans did not listen, did not learn, got worse and worse. More wars, more violence, more betrayal. Families turned on each other. Friends became enemies. Trust died. Love died. Only fear and hatred remained. Finally, even Astrea, patient, hopeful, could not stay, could not watch anymore, could not endure. The last good goddess left Earth, rose to the sky, joined the others in Olympus, in the stars, away, finally, away. But she left her scales in the sky, as a constellation, as a reminder of what was lost, of what could be, of what should be. Justice, balance, fairness. The scales shine there. Empty now. No one using them. No one weighing. But waiting. Always waiting. For someone to pick them up. To use them. To try again. To bring justice back to earth. The scales are also associated with the equinox. The autumn equinox. When Libra is prominent. When day and night are equal. Perfect balance. Light and dark. Same length. Same power. Neither dominating. Neither overwhelming. Just balance. Perfect. Complete. Brief. Because the balance does not last. The next day. Night grows longer. Day grows shorter. Winter approaches. Darkness increases. The balance tips. As it always does. As it must. Nothing stays balanced. Forever. Everything tips. Eventually. One way. Or another. But for one day. For one moment. There is perfect balance. Perfect equality. Light equals dark. Day equals night. The scales are level. The universe is fair. Justice. For one moment. Exists. Perfect. Complete. And that moment. That brief moment. Is worth remembering. Worth honoring. Worth placing in the sky. As a constellation. As a reminder. That balance is possible. Even if fleeting. Even if temporary. It exists. It can be achieved. For moments. In the turning of seasons. In the weighing of souls. In the efforts of those who still try. Who still care. Who still work. For justice. For fairness. For balance. Astrea, by the way, will return. According to some myths. When humanity improves. When the golden age returns. When justice reigns again. She will come back. Will descend from the stars. Will walk among us again. Will use her scales. To weigh. To judge. To bring balance. When that will be. No one knows. Perhaps never. Perhaps soon. Perhaps when we least expect. When we most need. When we finally deserve. The return of justice. The return of balance. The return of the goddess. Who never stopped believing. Even when she left. Even from the sky. She watches. Waits. Hopes. When you see Libra. Those stars. Forming scales. Think of Astrea. The last goddess. Who stayed longest. Who hoped most. Who left reluctantly. Think of balance. Of justice. Of fairness. Of the brief moments. When things are equal. When scales are level. When all is right. Let that balance stay with you. As you drift deeper, the scales, empty but waiting. The equinox, brief but perfect. The hope that justice will return, that balance will come, that someday things will be fair. Rest now. Under Libra, under the scales, under the stars that remember. When gods lived on earth, when justice walked among us, when balance was possible, and will be again someday. Sleep. The scales wait, patient, empty. The stars shine, level, fair. All is balance. For this moment, all is exactly as it should be. Story 8, Scorpio, the Scorpion of Orion. Scorpio. The Scorpion is magnificent, bright, obvious, curved, like a real scorpion. The body, a line of bright stars. The tail, curving up, ending in a sting. The heart, Aries, red, blood red, glowing, pulsing, like a beating heart, like warning, like danger. The scorpion has a purpose, a reason for being in the sky. It was sent to kill someone, to stop someone who had grown too proud, too arrogant, too dangerous, even to gods. Orion, the hunter. You know him. His constellation. 3 stars in a line. His belt. Bright. Famous. Easy to find. Orion was the greatest hunter in all of Greece, in all the world. He could kill anything, track anything, catch anything. No animal was safe, no creature too fast, too strong, too clever. He always won, and he knew it. Orion was proud, extremely proud. He boasted, constantly, loudly, I am the best hunter. No one equals me. No beast can escape me. I will hunt every animal on earth, kill them all, prove my skill, make the world safe, or empty, whichever comes first. The gods heard his boasting, his pride, his threat to kill every animal, to empty the earth. They were not pleased. Hubris, excessive pride, is the greatest sin. To Greeks, to gods, Orion was committing it. Needed to be stopped. Needed to be taught. Humility. Different myths give different reasons for what happened next. Some say Artemis, goddess of the hunt, was insulted. How dare he claim to be better than the gods, than her? She sent the scorpion. Some say Gaia, Mother Earth was protective of her creatures, of animals. She sent the scorpion to defend them, to stop the slaughter. But all agree, a scorpion was sent. Not just any scorpion. A giant scorpion. Huge. Deadly. With a sting that nothing could withstand. Whose poison killed instantly. Whose presence was terror. The scorpion found Orion. Crept up. Silent. Invisible. Scorpions are patient. Wait. Watch. Strike. Only when certain. Only when close. Only when sure. Orion did not see it. Did not sense it. Did not know. Until too late. The scorpion attacked. Its tail striking. Fast. Precise. Into Orion's heel. His ankle. The poison entering. Immediately. Working instantly. Orion fell. The greatest hunter. Brought down. By a small creature. By something he had not seen. Had not expected. Had not respected. He died. There. In the dirt. Far from home. Far from glory. Killed by a scorpion. Humble death. For a proud man. The gods. Satisfied. That justice was done. That hubris was punished. Placed both in the sky. Orion. As a constellation. Forever hunting. Forever famous. But also. The scorpion. As Scorpio. Forever chasing. Forever pursuing. Forever ensuring. That Orion knows. He can never be safe. Never be unchallenged. Never be supreme. And if you watch. Through the year. Through the seasons. You will notice. When Scorpio rises. In the east. Orion sets. In the west. They are never. In the sky. Together. Orion flees. The scorpion chases. Forever. Eternal pursuit. Eternal flight. The hunter. Hunted. The killer. Killed. Balance. Justice. Cosmic order. Maintained. Scorpio is also a water sign. In astrology. Despite being a desert creature. Despite scorpions. Avoiding water. Fearing it. But the constellation is in the autumn. When water returns. When rains come. In Mediterranean climate. After dry summer. Scorpio brings water. Brings life. Brings renewal. After death. Because scorpions, despite their reputation, despite their danger, are important. They eat insects. Pests. They keep balance. They have their place. In the ecosystem, in the world. They are not evil. Just dangerous. Just doing what they must to survive. The red star, Antares, means Anti-Aries, rival of Mars, because its color, red, like Mars, the planet, the god of war, red like blood, red like warning, red like the heart of something dangerous, something powerful, something that does not back down. When you see Scorpio, that curved line of stars, that red heart Antares, think of the scorpion, sent to humble, sent to balance, sent to remind that no one is invincible, no one is supreme, everyone can be brought down, everyone can be defeated. Pride comes before the fall. Always. Forever. Let that humility stay with you. As you drift deeper. The scorpion's lesson. The hunter humbled. The balance restored. The eternal chase. That keeps us honest. That keeps us humble. That reminds us. We are not gods. We are mortal. We can fall. Rest now. Under Scorpio. Under the scorpion. Under the stars that remember. When pride was punished. When hubris met justice. When the mighty fell. And the small triumphed. Sleep. The scorpion waits. Red heart glowing. The stars shine. Patient. Dangerous. Necessary. All is balance. All is justice. All is exactly as it should be. Story 9, Sagittarius, the Centaur Archer. Sagittarius, the archer, is often pictured as a centaur, half horse, half human, drawing a bow, aiming at something. What? The heart of the scorpion. Antares, the red star, behind it. To the east. The centaur aims west. Forever. Never releasing. Never lowering the bow. Just aiming. Forever ready. But which centaur? The myths give two answers. Two possibilities. Two very different beings. Most say, this is Chiron, the wisest centaur, the kindest, the most civilized, unlike other centaurs, who were wild, drunk, violent, rapists, monsters barely better than beasts. Chiron was different, educated, cultured, a teacher, a healer, a friend to heroes. He lived on Mount Pelion, in a cave, but a nice cave, clean, organized, full of herbs, medicines, books, scrolls, knowledge. Heroes came to him to learn. to train, to be educated. Achilles studied with him. Jason, Heracles, many others, the greatest heroes, all learned from Chiron. Who taught them? Medicine, music, hunting, ethics, everything a hero needs to know. But Chiron had a tragedy, an accident. That was not his fault, but ended him. Heracles, his student, his friend, was fighting other centaurs. The wild ones, the bad ones. He shot arrows, poisoned arrows, dipped in Hydra blood, from his second labor. These arrows, once they wounded, caused agony, incurable agony. Death was better than the pain. One arrow missed, hit Chiron, by accident, in the leg, in the thigh. The poison entered. The pain began. Terrible pain. Unending pain. But Chiron was immortal. A son of Kronos. A god. He could not die. Could not escape. The pain was forever. He suffered for a long time. Weeks, months, begging for death, begging for release. But immortal gods cannot die, cannot end, even when they want to, even when life is only pain. Finally, a trade was made. Prometheus, the Titan, was being punished by Zeus, chained to a rock, an eagle eating his liver, daily, forever, for giving fire to humans, for defying Zeus. But someone had to take his place, had to become mortal, so Prometheus could be freed. Chiron volunteered, gave up his immortality, became mortal, so he could die, so the pain could end, and so Prometheus could be freed, could be unchained, could return to the world. It was noble. It was sacrifice. It was Chiron, being himself. Even at the end, he died, released, finally, from pain. And Zeus, grateful, moved, placed him in the sky as Sagittarius, the archer, forever aiming, forever ready, forever remembering, the wise centaur, who taught heroes, who suffered, who sacrificed for another. But some myths say Sagittarius is not Chiron, but Crotus, another centaur, different, less famous, but talented. He invented archery, or improved it, made it what it is. The art, the skill, the precision. He also invented applause, clapping, To show appreciation. For art. For performances. For the muses. Who sang. Who danced. Who created. The muses loved him. For his inventions. For his appreciation. When he died, they asked Zeus to honor him, to place him in the sky as Sagittarius, the archer, forever showing his invention, his contribution, his gift to humanity. The bow, the arrow, the hunt. Either way, Chiron or Crotus, Sagittarius represents intelligence, skill, culture, the union of animal and human, of instinct and reason, of nature and civilization, the best of both, combined in one being, in one constellation. The constellation is also in the Milky Way, the center of it, the heart of our galaxy, is in Sagittarius. If you look there with a telescope, you will see more stars than you can count, more than imagination can hold. The center, the core of everything we see in the night sky is there, hidden in Sagittarius, the archer, pointing the way to the heart of our home, our galaxy. When you see Sagittarius, those stars forming a bow, an arrow, a centaur, think of wisdom, think of skill, think of the teacher, or the inventor, think of those who give, who teach, who sacrifice, who make things better, for others, for everyone. Let that wisdom stay with you as you drift deeper. The centaur's aim, the arrow ready, the teaching, the sacrifice, the gift of knowledge, of skill, of civilization, rising from nature, but beyond it, better, wiser, kinder. Rest now, under Sagittarius, under the archer, under the stars that remember, the wise teacher, the noble sacrifice, the gifts given freely, for all to use, forever. Sleep. The centaur aims, forever ready. The stars shine, countless, dense, the center of everything. All is wisdom, all is gift, all is exactly as it should be. Story 10, Capricorn, the sea goat. Capricorn, the sea goat, is strange, unique, half goat, half fish. The front, goat, head, horns, body, legs. The back, fish, tail, fins, scales, It makes no sense to modern minds, but to ancient Greeks, it had meaning, had story, had reason. This is Pan, or not Pan, but related to Pan, similar to Pan. Pan, god of shepherds, of wild places, of nature untamed, half goat, half man, horns, hooves, but usually just goat, from waist down, not fish. So why is Capricorn half fish? The story involves the monster Typhon, the most terrible monster that ever existed, sent by Gaia, Mother Earth, to destroy the gods, to overthrow Zeus, to end Olympian rule forever. Typhon was massive, taller than mountains, with 100 dragon heads, breathing fire, breathing poison, causing earthquakes with every step, causing tsunamis with every gesture. The gods, powerful as they were, feared him, knew they might lose, might die, might end. When Typhon attacked, the gods fled, transformed into animals, to hide, to escape, to survive. Aries became a fish, hid in a river. Hermes became an ibis, flew away. Apollo became a crow, Artemis a cat. Each god became something, to escape, to hide. Pan, in the chaos, decided to transform into a fish, to hide in the Nile, the great river. But he panicked. The transformation was incomplete, rushed. Only his lower half became fish. His upper half stayed goat. He jumped into the river. This hybrid, this strange creature, half goat, half fish, and he survived. Zeus eventually defeated Typhon, threw mountains on him, buried him under Mount Etna, in Sicily, where he burns still, causing the volcano to erupt, to rage, to remind everyone he is still there, still angry, still waiting. After the battle, Zeus honored those who helped, those who survived. Pan, for his quick thinking, for his survival, for being there, was placed in the sky as Capricorn, the sea goat, forever half transformed, forever in between, forever remembering the panic, the flight, the survival. But Capricorn is also more than this. In astrology, in symbolism, it represents Winter solstice. The shortest day. The longest night. The turning point. After Capricorn, days grow longer. Light returns. The dark recedes. The goat climbs mountains, reaches heights, survives in harsh conditions where others cannot. Resilient, determined, stubborn. The fish swims deep, explores the unconscious, the hidden, the beneath. Together, they represent the combination of ambition and depth, of climbing and diving, of reaching up and going down. Both necessary, both important. Capricorn, in myth, is also associated with Amalthea, the goat, who nursed Zeus when he was a baby, hiding from his father. Kronos, who ate his children, who would have eaten Zeus, but was tricked, given a stone instead. Zeus survived, thanks to Amalthea, the goat, who fed him, protected him, kept him safe. When Zeus grew, defeated Kronos, became king, he honored Amalthea, placed her in the sky as Capricorn, the goat, who made his survival, his rise, his rule possible, forever remembered, forever honored, for being there at the beginning, when everything was uncertain. The horn of Amalthea became the cornucopia, the horn of plenty, endless abundance, infinite supply, always giving, never empty. This horn, this gift, given to those Zeus loved, to those he wanted to prosper, to have everything they needed. When you see Capricorn, those faint stars forming a triangle, a strange shape, half goat, half fish, think of survival, think of adaptation, think of those who change to survive, who become something new, to endure, who don't give up, even when the form is strange, the path is unclear, the outcome uncertain. Let that resilience stay with you as you drift deeper. The sea goat's transformation, the panic that created something new, the survival against odds, the turning point, when darkness begins to recede, when light begins to return. Rest now, under Capricorn, under the sea goat, under the stars that remember, the transformation, the survival, the nursing, the horn of plenty, the gifts that keep giving forever. Sleep. The sea goat swims and climbs, both at once. The stars shine, faint but present. All is survival. All is adaptation. All is exactly as it should be. Story 11, Aquarius, the water bearer. Aquarius, the water bearer, is a human figure, one of the few in the zodiac, holding a jar, pouring water, endless water, flowing down into the mouth of a fish. Below, the southern fish, Piscis austrinus. The water flows forever, never ending, never emptying, always giving. But who is this figure, this water bearer? The myths offer different answers, different identities, but the most common is Ganymede, the most beautiful boy who ever lived. Ganymede was a prince of Troy, son of King Taurus. He was young, beautiful, perfect. His beauty was famous, legendary. Everyone who saw him stopped, stared, was moved by his appearance, his grace, his youth. Zeus saw him one day from Olympus, looking down at earth, at mortals, and he saw Ganymede, and desired him, wanted him, not as a god, not as himself, but disguised. As always, Zeus transformed into an eagle, giant eagle, golden eagle, beautiful, powerful. He swooped down from Olympus, from the sky, to where Ganymede was, tending sheep on the slopes of Mount Ida, near Troy. The eagle grabbed Ganymede with its talons, gently, carefully, not hurting, but firm, unbreakable. The boy was lifted into the air, higher, higher, away from the mountain, away from the sheep, away from his home, his family, his life. Ganymede was brought to Olympus, to Zeus, who revealed himself, explained, "You are too beautiful to remain on earth, to age, to die, to be wasted on mortality. You will stay here, with me, with the gods, forever young, forever beautiful, forever serving." Ganymede became cupbearer to the gods, at feasts, at banquets. He poured wine, nectar, ambrosia, whatever the gods drank. He served them. Beautiful boy, forever young, forever serving. Was this an honor or a curse? The myths don't ask, don't question, just state. This is what happened. His father, King Taurus, was devastated. His son, gone, taken by a god. He mourned, raged, wept, but could not fight. Zeus could not demand, could not retrieve. His son was gone forever. Zeus, feeling guilty, perhaps, sent a gift. Horses, the finest horses ever bred, swift, strong, beautiful, and a message. Your son is honored among gods. He will never die, never age, never suffer. He is blessed more than any mortal can be. But is it a blessing to be taken against your will, to serve forever, to never age, but never be free, to be immortal, but not divine, just forever young, forever serving, forever beautiful, forever? Ganymede. Zeus also placed him in the sky as Aquarius, the water-bearer, forever pouring, forever serving, even among the stars. His duty continues. His service never ends. His beauty preserved forever. The water that Aquarius pours is different in different myths. Sometimes it is rain. Aquarius brings the winter rains to Greece, to the Mediterranean, the necessary rains that fill cisterns, that feed crops, that make life possible. Sometimes it is the flood, the great flood that Zeus sent to destroy humanity when they became too wicked. The water that Aquarius poured for 40 days, 40 nights, drowning everything. Only Deucalion and Hera survived in an ark to repopulate the world. Sometimes it is knowledge, wisdom, flowing from heaven to earth, the water of understanding, of enlightenment, given freely to those who seek, who ask, who are ready. Aquarius is an air sign in astrology, despite being the water bearer. Despite pouring water, air represents thought, ideas, communication, the things that flow between minds, like water between places. Ideas flow, change, transform, create new thoughts, new understanding. When you see Aquarius, those faint stars, forming a human, holding a jar, pouring water. Think of Ganymede. Beautiful. Taken. Forever serving. Think of water. Flowing freely. Given freely. Necessary. Life-giving. Endless. Think also of service. Of giving. Of pouring out what you have for others, even when it was not your choice, even when you would rather be elsewhere. Be free. Be yourself. But you serve because you must. Because others need what you have. What you can give. What you can be. Let that service stay with you as you drift deeper. The water endlessly pouring. The cup never empty. The beauty preserved. The duty endless. The gift freely given, even when it costs everything. Rest now. Under Aquarius. Under the water bearer. Under the stars that remember. The beautiful boy. Taken. Made immortal. Forever serving. Forever young. Forever. Ganymede. Sleep. The water pours. The stars shine. The service continues. All is giving. All is flow. All is exactly as it should be. Story 12, Pisces, the two fish. Pisces. The two fish is the last of the zodiac. The end and the beginning. Before Aries starts the cycle again. Two fish swimming, connected by a cord, a ribbon, a string, forever bound, never separating, swimming in opposite directions, but together, always together. These fish are Aphrodite and Eros, goddess of love, and her son, god of desire, or, in the Roman version, Venus and Cupid. Same gods, different names, same story. Escape, transformation, binding. Once again, Typhon, the monster, attacks. The gods flee, transform, to hide, to survive. Aphrodite and Eros are together. When the attack comes, mother and son, in danger, together, they flee, to a river, to water, where they can transform into fish, swim away, escape. The monster, who rages, who destroys, who seeks to kill them all. But Aphrodite is afraid. In the chaos, in the panic, in the transformation, she might lose her son. They might get separated. The current could carry him away. She would never find him, never see him again. So she takes a cord, a ribbon, ties one end to herself, the other end to Eros. So they will stay together, connected, even as fish, even in the current, even in chaos. Mother and son, bound forever. They dive into the river, the Euphrates, the great river of Mesopotamia. They swim as fish, away from Typhon, away from danger. The cord holds tight, keeps them together, no matter how strong the current, how far they swim. They remain connected, safe. They survive, as all gods eventually do. Typhon is defeated, order restored. They transform back, human again, divine again, safe again. But the fish, the two fish, bound together, swimming, are remembered, placed in the sky, by Athena, or by Aphrodite herself, a reminder of their escape, their binding, their survival. Pisces is also about duality, about two who are one, two fish, but connected, two directions, but bound, two beings, but united. This represents relationships, bonds, connections that cannot be broken, that survive everything, chaos, distance, time. Pisces is a water sign, emotional, deep, flowing. Fish swim in depths, in currents, in the unconscious, in feelings, in the parts of ourselves we don't understand, don't control, just feel, just are. The constellation is faint, hard to see, easy to miss. The stars are not bright. The fish are barely there. Suggestions, hints, outlines. You need dark skies, good eyes, patience to see them. But they are there, always there, swimming, bound together. Pisces is also the last sign before the zodiac starts again, before Aries, before spring, before the new year. Pisces is the end of winter, the waiting, the preparation, the last darkness, before light returns fully. In this way, Pisces represents endings and beginnings, death and rebirth, the transition between cycles, between years, between ages, the in-between time, when one thing has ended, but the next has not yet begun. The liminal, the threshold, the doorway. When you see Pisces, those faint fish, connected by their cord, think of Aphrodite and Eros, mother and son, fleeing, surviving, bound together. Think of the connections that keep us safe, that keep us whole, that keep us together, even in chaos, even in danger, even in transformation. Think of endings and beginnings, of cycles, completing and starting again, of the last darkness before dawn, of the final winter before spring, of everything coming to its end, so something new can begin. Let that transition stay with you as you drift into deepest sleep. The fish swimming, the cord binding, the cycle ending, beginning, the wheel turning, forever, always bringing what was lost, what was ended, back again, in new form, new life, new cycle. Rest now, under Pisces, under the two fish, under the stars that remember, the goddess and her son, the binding that saved them, the transformation that protected them, the survival that honored them. Sleep. The fish swim, bound together. The stars shine, faint but present. All is connection. All is cycle. All is exactly as it should be. The zodiac completes. Aries next will begin again. The wheel never stops turning, forever, always bringing us back to the start, but changed, grown, transformed. Sleep now, under all 12, under the entire circle, under the zodiac that has watched humanity for thousands of years, that will watch for thousands more. All is cycle, all is return, all is peace. And so, our journey through the zodiac ends. 12 constellations, 12 stories, 12 ancient myths, written in the stars, for anyone who looks up, who wonders, who remembers. We met the golden ram, who tried to save 2 children, succeeded with one, failed with the other, but tried, and was honored for trying. We saw the white bull, who carried Europa across the sea, for Zeus's desire, for a goddess's fear, for a story of taking and surviving. We watched the twin brothers, Castor and Pollux, who loved each other more than life, more than death, who chose to share everything, to be together always. We heard the small crab, who tried to help Hera, who failed, who died, but was honored for loyalty, for effort, for being willing to try. We witnessed the Nemean Lion, invulnerable, powerful, defeated by greater strength, by determination, by the hero who would not give up. We learned of Persephone, the maiden, split between worlds, whose story explains seasons, explains cycles, explains why things die and return forever. We saw the scales of justice empty now, waiting for Astrea to return, for humanity to deserve her again. We felt the scorpion's sting that humbled the proud hunter, that taught that no one is invincible, is supreme, is beyond being brought down. We aimed with the Centaur, the wise teacher, the noble sacrifice, who gave his immortality so another could be free. We transformed with the sea-goat, half this, half that, surviving, by adapting, by becoming something new, something strange, but alive. We poured with Aquarius, the water-bearer, forever serving, forever giving, forever beautiful, forever bound to duty. And we swam with the 2 fish, bound together, mother and son, goddess and god, connected by love, by necessity, by the survival that requires we stay together, even when it is hard. 12 stories, 12 lessons about love, about loss, about pride, about humility, about effort, about sacrifice, about transformation, about survival, about bonds that cannot be broken. The zodiac is a circle, a wheel, that turns forever. Each sign leading to the next. Each story connected to the others. All part of one great story. The story of being human, of being alive, of looking up at the stars and seeing ourselves, our struggles, our triumphs, our deaths, our rebirths. These myths are old, thousands of years old, but the stars are older, much older, billions of years. They were there before humans, before Earth, before the sun. They will be there after humans, after Earth, after everything we know is gone. But for this moment, for this brief cosmic moment, we are here, looking up, seeing patterns, creating stories, finding meaning in the random placement of stars, making the universe ours, familiar, understandable, human. Let these stories stay with you as you drift into deepest sleep. Let the stars watch over you as they have watched over every human who ever lived, who ever wondered, who ever looked up and saw not just stars, but stories, but meaning, but connection between heaven and earth, between cosmos and consciousness. Rest now, under the zodiac, under all 12, under the great wheel that turns forever, bringing seasons, bringing change, bringing everything back to where it started, but different, always different, always new. Sleep well, stargazer, story listener, cosmic child. The zodiac holds you. The stars watch over you. The myths remember you. All is story. All is stars. All is exactly as it should be. Good night. Under Aries and Taurus and Gemini and Cancer and Leo and Virgo and Libra and Scorpio and Sagittarius and Capricorn and Aquarius and Pisces. Good night. Under the whole circle, the complete wheel, the eternal zodiac. Sleep.